6 teams, Browns, Lions, Packers, Texans, Rams, Steelers, made the playoffs after not making the postseason last year. And in case you're wondering, it's the 34th consecutive season that at least 4 teams have qualified for the playoffs after missing the playoffs the year before.
Woo! Ow! Stat of the day! Stat of the day! Stat of the day! Stat of the day! This is the stat of the day!
Stat of the day brought to you by Panini America. And if you're looking at the storylines here, if I would have said at the start of the year, now I thought the Packers were going to make the playoffs. I thought the Steelers were going to make the playoffs. The Browns, I'm not surprised at all. The Lions, not surprised. Texans, I'm very surprised. I'm probably more surprised at the Rams than I am the Texans. Because the Rams playing in a really good division with the best team in the NFC. I thought Seattle was going to be a playoff team again. And all of a sudden, here are the Rams. And who would have thought Matthew Stafford finally playing in a playoff game in Detroit? He's just not the Detroit Lions quarterback. Packers, I was all in on Jordan Love. Lions, we knew that they were coming. Texans, I'm surprised. Texans, because they played well, they were competitive, and C.J. Stroud was certainly better than, most rookie quarterbacks are. Also, we get caught up in stats sometimes. And if I would have said that, Nick Mullins is in a category with, now this is in NFL history, Nick Mullins is in a category with Patrick Mahomes, Justin Herbert, and Kurt Warner. Okay? This is, can you guess the category? Can you even guess the team that Nick Mullins is on? He threw for 396 yards yesterday. Nick Mullins, in his first 20 NFL starts, has over 5,600 yards, trailing only Patrick Mahomes, Justin Herbert, and Kurt Warner.
Stat of the day, stat of the day.
It's just wild.
Stat of the day. Here comes that what? Stat of the day.
That would be the rando stat of the day, I would think. Because if I said, hey, we're going to mention Nick Mullins, Patrick Mahomes, Kurt Warner, and Justin Herbert, and they're in the same category, the same neighborhood. Okay, yeah.
Very random group of dudes.
Yes.
Men who play football.
Very random. Quarterbacks. Right-handed quarterbacks. All right, so the Jags are out. The Colts are out. The Colts out doesn't feel like a bad story. Like they were in it to the very end. They had a chance, and you lose your quarterback. I love Gardner Minshew. I think he's a high-end backup quarterback. But the Jags, that one hurts. That one hurts really bad. They were 8-3 at one point. And I know there were some national analysts, radio hosts. They were all in on the Jags, telling us, hey, people are forgetting about the Jags. And I go, no, we're not. We haven't seen it yet. I'm waiting to see it. And I'm still waiting to see that. Colts had a chance to make the playoffs. But the Jags should have made the playoffs. The Jags should be an AFC title contender. Here's how that last play for the Colts sounded to end their season.
4th down and 1. Goods in the back left. Minshew out of the gun. Colts down by 6. Minshew's going to throw. Caught. No, it's dropped by Goodson in the far left flank.
He dropped the ball.
He had a first down, but he dropped the ball in the far flat. He could not bring in the catch.
Yeah, tough pass, though. I mean, yes, he did drop the ball, but Goodson dropped it. I didn't think it was a great pass. Bills, Texans, Steelers in the playoffs. The Bills last night. We're going to, at the end of the season, we'll look back on the Buffalo Bills and say, they did this because of Josh Allen, or they didn't do this because of Josh Allen. And I'm watching last night, and I'm thinking, all right, no mistakes. Ooh, interception. Okay, only one. Ooh, another one. Then there was a fumble. But then he will give you those plays where you go, oh, my God. Because he is an oh, my God guy. You're like, oh, my God, or oh, my God. But they beat the Dolphins. Now, if the Dolphins had won, Buffalo would just stay in Miami, and then they would play them again this next weekend. Now, you got the Dolphins going to Kansas City. How much confidence do you have? Really, I guess in either one of these teams right now. But certainly with Miami, Waddle not being in there. Tyreek Hill got hurt right at the very end, couldn't get in there for the last play. The Dolphins were dangerous, that offense, and I kept saying all year, I don't know who they are. I think they're fun, they're interesting, they're relevant. I don't know how good they are. Dallas Cowboys, when the Cowboys win, they leave no mistake. They win. They win by double digits. I think this was the 11th game this season that they've won. So it was 38-10. The 11th game that they won by 20 or more points this season. That's the most by any NFL team in a single season in NFL history. So you juxtapose the Cowboys to the Eagles. Because the Eagles at one point we thought, all right, best team in the NFC. And then they played the Niners. And then it didn't go well with the Niners. And it felt like they got exposed a little bit. It's like when Muhammad Ali beat George Foreman after the rope-a-dope. George wasn't the same because they took away that invincibility. When Mike Tyson lost the heavyweight title to Buster Douglas, he wasn't the same. Now, Philadelphia is not on par with those fighters, but there is that boxing analogy like, oh my God, they got roughed up. They got embarrassed. They dropped 5 of 6. Now all of a sudden, they're an early playoff loss away from maybe a coaching change there.
Wow. It's hard to even say.
I know it.
You're right, though.
Because feels like that locker room is kind of teetering. And now you're on the road, and granted, you're a favorite against Tampa Bay, but, Tampa Bay has played pretty tough. They played, they win games. You don't get style points. By the way, Arthur Smith fired by the Falcons. Ron Rivera fired by the Commanders. And then here's Bill Belichick talking about his future with the Patriots.
Disappointing year for all of us, players, coaches, staff, entire organization, and not anything that any of us are in any way content with. So, but it is what it is. So, I'll address some questions on the game. As far as the future goes, I'll sit down with Robert, as I do every year at some point at the end of the season, and we'll talk about things as we always do. I'm sure that'll happen. But that's really about all I have to say about that right now, because there's anything else to talk about.
Okay, there was never a point where I thought he was going to be fired during midseason. I never thought that he would be fired today. He's going to meet with Robert Kraft. He may know his fate, but let's say it's, Thursday, Friday, that he, is it a mutual parting? Because it doesn't sound like Bill wants to leave. Bill's coming in and acting as if he's still the head coach, probably prepping for next year. It's not like, Bill, don't come into the office today. Belichick came in as if he is still the head coach of the Patriots. Is there going to be a mutual? Will it be amicable? It'll probably be portrayed that way, but Bill wants to stay. You can hear that. At what point does it become mutual parting? When Robert Kraft says, Bill, we're moving on from you? Then it's not, okay, yeah, we're going to have a mutual parting here. It's amicable here. Bill Belichick wants to stay as New England's head coach. Now, is he going to have other offers? I think Carolina goes all in. And I think Washington goes all in. And I can never rule out an early exit by the Cowboys if they would happen to lose to Green Bay. Jerry Jones is running out of time. Jerry Jones is like, I got to get the right guy in here. And Mike McCarthy had another really good regular season. They always look great until they don't. And that, so I have to factor that in. The Raiders situation, maybe Antonio Pierce is going to get that job. The Chargers job. There's probably going to be one or two other, Patriots job will be open. And then, what is the outcome tonight? How that affects Jim Harbaugh's future? Does Jim Harbaugh, because somebody could open up a job if they know they're going to get Jim Harbaugh. Antonio Pierce appears to be the front runner for the Raiders job, and they played well for him. They played hard for him, and that's what you want. Certainly at the end of the year when you have nothing left to play for, they were playing for their coach yesterday. But if Michigan wins tonight, Jim Harbaugh more likely to go, less likely to go? I think he's already made up his mind, win or lose, what he's going to do. I still think he wants to go back to the NFL. I don't think he wants to mess with the NCAA anymore. We don't even know what the sanctions are going to be for the cheating scandal here. But I'm guessing 2-3 years down the road, he doesn't want that hanging over him. And I feel like if the right job is there, you get Washington. To me, is a great opportunity. It's a great franchise, or at least it still has the structure of being a great franchise with its fan base there. And you're going to have the second pick in the draft. You're going to get a quarterback. If you want that quarterback, you got him. You're going to get a rookie The Bears are probably going to trade the number one pick. At least that's what I was told yesterday. That they are probably going to stay with their head coach and with Justin Fields. Although Justin Fields, when he was leaving the field, made it seem like, hey, if this is it, all right, I did the best that I could. But I think I don't know what's going to happen with Mike Vrabel in Tennessee. Derrick Henry got on the microphone yesterday to say goodbye. I love Derrick Henry. Whenever we've been around him at the Super Bowl, that dude was awesome.